I've never been that interested in the royal family, if I'm honest, and the fascination of the media surrounding the royal family is something that I've never really understood. It's displayed as modest, yet exorbitant, with the media fantasizing over the ins and outs of all the relationships, exploring every single thing that they do. They somehow believe that whatever the royal family do will affect them in some way, and they have to debate about it, as if their conclusion will change the ideas of these individual people, as if they can't think for themselves. Now, I love when the news covers all bases, I really do. Especially when it's of something important, I really do believe that it's important for the integrity of news to be impartial. So, why are the media so obsessed with Prince Harry and his wife Meghan Markle? Why do people, or more specifically the media, care about what this couple does specifically? Well, for one, there's this argument that they're hypocritical for wanting a private life and then go and sign deals to Netflix and Spotify for their own sort of promotional campaigns. The fact that they sign these deals goes against that wanting a private life. But here's the thing about that argument. They never even said that. They don't want to live a private life out of the public eye. They just don't want the hassle of being hounded by the British press every 5 minutes, every single time they do something. The media makes countless articles and hit pieces about this couple, especially because they step down as senior members of the royal family. Now, I'd argue that one of the reasons why they wanted out was because the environment surrounding the royal family is so undeniably toxic. The palace itself has so much toxicity behind it, behind the walls, and these royal experts and media people who are so obsessed with the royal family, they all breed this toxicity around it. These are not things that you want your young child to discover, that you're in all these newspapers with articles just attacking you and your character and your family. It's not healthy to be surrounded by the pressure and the stress of media just constantly attacking your every move. They were having a baby and they didn't want to be constantly hounded and stressed out by the media. The disgusting and blatant attacks on Meghan's character is enough for anyone to want to leave the family. There's living a life out of the British press, and then there's living a private life out of the public eye completely. They just wanted to live a life outside of being completely hounded by the media. They didn't say they wanted to live a less public life, but the media want you to believe that they said this so they can spin this story about them both being hypocrites, which just isn't true. And it's them trying to spin this story of hypocrisy that Janet down the road just absolutely laps up. She's probably calling Harry a traitor every single day to all her friends. It's just like, calm down, Janet. It's nothing to do with you. Are you part of the royal family? No, I didn't think so. Why does your opinion matter? It doesn't. You see, at least with these deals with Netflix, Spotify, etc., they have their own PR team, whatever. At least then they have control of what gets said about them to some extent, instead of just the constant hit pieces that get fired at them from the media. They have control over what they can do creatively once they're out of the royal family, and in America, they can maybe create their own stories instead of having to toe the line that's expected of them from all these royal enthusiasts and the establishment themselves. They're made to either do what is expected of them from all these different groups to keep them happy. They're made not to stray from the path, or they'll end up disgraced, or even dead. Yes, I did just go there. Ever since they announced their leave last year from the royal family, they've just been consistently the talk of the town. Every newspaper has something to say about Meghan and Harry. Gossip shows, tabloids and magazines just constantly giving their unwanted opinions on the situation, like an annoying pack of very loud and very obnoxious hyenas. Prince Harry has been living in the shadows of his mum his entire life. The media just won't let him live without being tormented by it. Tormented by his past, tormented by his mum's death, tormented by now being with Meghan. And he's hated the British press for it, as anyone would if they were in his situation. It's well documented that he hates the British press.
Unfortunately, every single story was complete lies, which it which it always is, basically. I want to sit around at Windsor because I just generally don't like England that much, and it's nice to be away from all the press and the papers and the general shite that they write.
It was too risky for you to go back as a soldier.
More the fact that I think the media had said that they would never keep their mouths shut if I went and did the same job, so I'd have to do something different if I wanted to go, yes. My father always says don't read it, everyone says don't read it because it's always rubbish. I'm surprised how many people in the UK actually read it. I mean, everyone's guilty for buying the newspapers, I guess, but hopefully no one actually believes what they read, which I certainly don't. But yeah, of course I read it. If there's a story and something's being written about me, I want to know what's being said. But all it does is just upset me and anger me that people can get away with writing the stuff they do. Not just about me, about everything and everybody.
And that mistrust of the press, I mean, how far back does that go? Is that something that's sort of...
I think it's fairly obvious how far back it goes, to when I was very small.
He's unfortunately been forever labelled and targeted as this precious kid. There's this weird notion that we have to protect him because his mum died tragically when he was very young. This is another issue that's just surrounded by controversy. Too much for me to go into right now. It's kind of late, so... I'd actually argue that the Prince Harry and Meghan situation is so trivial at best, especially when there is at least one genuine paedophile that's been outed in the royal family that people could go after, the media could go after, but instead they don't. Prince Andrew was part of a genuine paedophile ring, and the same establishment that is attacking Meghan and Harry tried so hard to cover up the fact that Prince Andrew was a paedophile. They kept stories from coming out for decades. They intimidated anyone who would try to speak up about it. Where are the similar outcries and hit pieces on Prince Andrew? Because I don't see him anywhere. Did that well of juicy gossip dry up after just a couple of days? Because now, even like a few months down the line, it's just been swept all under the rug. Nobody talks about it anymore. I think it's because it shows the royal family in a really bad light, obviously. It puts the firm or the establishment as a whole in such a bad light. I would argue the worst possible light. Having a royal paedophile is one bad thing, but having the establishment cover it up and intimidate anyone who tries to uncover this story, well, that's probably the worst thing. I feel so sorry for Meghan and Harry. They get the treatment that Andrew should be getting. They don't deserve any of this unrelenting abuse from the media. I mean, from the moment Meghan entered Harry's life, they've just been surrounded by controversy that doesn't need to exist. She's received relentless abuse and character assassinations. It's completely unfair. It didn't happen to his brother William and his wife Kate. I mean, the double standards here are pretty disgraceful. They just want to live their lives just like anyone else, and they're constantly getting criticised for absolutely everything that they do. I believe in holding people to account just as much as the next guy, but these people don't even deserve it. Prince Andrew, however, he does deserve it. He deserves to face the full extent of the law, and all he gets is to get off with stepping down as a royal indefinitely, donating a couple of quid to charity. That's his punishment. But Meghan's getting this unrelenting punishment for just being mixed race. I mean, there's no other explanation for it, really. It definitely is a racial thing. I'll get onto that in a bit. There's also a story that's come out about the Times regarding a member of staff that has supposedly been bullied by Meghan. This is stuff that originally happened 2 years ago. It's been conveniently brought back up just in time for this interview with Oprah. To me, it just sounds like a vindictive claim to rouse up some hate about her just in time for this interview, so that it kind of discredits everything that she says in it, that she might uncover about the royal family that they don't want you to hear. The royal family and the media have supposedly been pressuring Meghan into delaying this interview because of Prince Philip's health situation. It seems to me that they're just trying to use that to buy some time, maybe, so that they can preemptively view these interviews before they're supposed to be aired, try and get some leaks so that they can preemptively try and denounce everything that she says in the interview. She's not even sent a copy to the Queen. Let's just say if Meghan sent the Queen a copy, the establishment would try and cover up or discredit anything that is said in the interview. It seems that the establishment might feel a bit threatened, doesn't it? As I said before, there's undeniably a racism thing going on here. To put it into context, Meghan Markle is a bit of a triple threat. She's an actress, she's divorced, and she's mixed race. These are three things that I think the establishment and the British media don't really like that much. Because she's an actress, she probably has as much clout and influence than the media themselves do, just on a different demographic. Because she's an actress, she has enough influence to the point where any slander that could be sort of thrown around by the media will just fall on deaf ears. This influence is only going to grow further with the rise of Meghan and Harry's production company. They're producing like kid-friendly shows, such as Disney Nature's new film that came out last year called Elephant. Britain, as it stands, is pretty racist, I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of xenophobia. A lot of the media reflects that anti-foreign sentiment that embody a lot of the British people. As much as they'll claim it's not a racist thing and that they might see through colour, whatever that means, it definitely is a form of institutional racism. It's very real and it's embedded so deep to the point where people don't really recognise it as being racist. But why else are they attacking her? For everything that Kate Middleton gets praised for, why does Meghan get lampooned for doing the exact same thing? Hey guys, Editing Jack here. I did want to originally just put a couple screenshots on the screen at this point, just to display the sort of hypocrisy and the double standard in media, reporting around Kate and around Meghan. But this bit needs its own section, honestly. It's just completely ridiculous. I mean, some of these articles are literally written by the same person, and it genuinely annoyed me so much. Most of these articles refer to Kate Middleton as Duchess of Cambridge, you know, her official title, and they still don't recognise Meghan Markle as the Duchess of Sussex. So it's like, even at that point, like, they can't even accept that. There was one picture that made me laugh of the Queen with her hands in her pockets. I know it's not really relating to Kate, but the fact that the Queen is literally got her hands in her pockets and it's the cover of Hello magazine, and then Meghan puts her hands in her pockets and she's slammed for putting her hands in her pockets. It's like, it's ridiculous, honestly. There's so much stupid shit in here. Like, here's another article here where they're saying that the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, Will and Kate, spend second private Christmas with the Middleton family rather than joining the Queen. And it's like, just talked about. And then in this second article it says, doesn't the Queen deserve better than this festive absence? Referring to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry spending Christmas away from the royals. So it's like, every decision that Meghan Markle makes, they attack, even if it's the exact same decision that Kate makes. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of get that off my chest. I'm sure throughout this I'll be showing all these screenshots on screen. The extent of this is absolutely ridiculous. It's just infuriating, to be honest, seeing all this. Anyway, gotta get back to it. So why else would they be treating us so differently? If it's not to do with her race, what is it to do with? She is often compared to Princess Kate Middleton, who is married to Harry's brother William. For example, Prince William and Kate have asked for their privacy to be respected when they're off duty. The media accept this, and for the most part there's not really been any controversy or any backlash to them asking for that. However, when Harry has been asking for the same thing his whole life, and Meghan comes along, as a couple they've asked for their privacy to be maintained, they still receive so much backlash and controversy around just that decision alone. Whether consciously accepting it or not, The people buy into the media's very subtle changes in language when it comes to something to do with Meghan. The gossip columns and the tabloids all go raving mad about this, all stating that our Prince Harry has been taken away from us, as if he's not an individual man who can make decisions for himself. I'm going to refer you to watch this video. I'll put it up here or here, wherever the suggested video thing is. I actually just watched this just before recording this video actually. I'd already written out what I wanted to say and everything, but this is just something that was sent to me by my girlfriend that I thought was pretty interesting to kind of add to the video. This highlights that royal experts, whatever that sentence even means, it doesn't sound real to me. They just make up blatant lies about this interview with Oprah that hasn't even been aired yet. Nobody's seen anything to do with it. They've not seen it themselves, but they're still just making up blatant lies about it and answering as if they know what's been said.
In the interview, from start to finish, Meghan was acting.
I think what it said is Meghan's relationship with the royal household was not very good.
If these royal experts can sorry, it's so stupid. Royal experts, if they can just lie so vehemently about something that they've not even watched, what's to stop them from lying completely, being a source for, let's say, The Sun or the Daily Mail, lying so vehemently over some fiasco of their choosing? They could literally just make shit up, and because they're a royal expert, they'd be credited as like some reputable source. It's laughable. These people have crafted a career over talking absolute shite. It would be impressive if it wasn't so sad. Like I said before, Harry has kind of made clear his disdain for the media. To be honest, I don't think this notion of wanting privacy from the British press has just come out of nowhere.
I think one of the hardest things to come to terms with is the fact that the people that chased her into the tunnel were the same people that were taking photographs of her while she was still dying on the back seat of the car. And William and I know that. We've been told that numerous times by people that know that was the case. She'd had quite a severe head injury, but she was very much still alive on the back seat. And those people that caused the accident, instead of helping, were taking photographs of her dying on the back seat. And then those photographs made their way back to news desks.
I don't think it's strictly Meghan's idea either, which is what the media would want you to believe, that he's a prisoner to her. I think the media are trying to create a rift between Harry and Meghan, trying to push her out of the picture by being this toxic, problematic environment that just simply is enough to push anyone away. The media is so obsessed with trying to tear down and criticize this strong woman who, by all other accounts, is a really lovely and caring person. The media are the same people that create such an explosion around these bullying claims that are 2 years old, while also relentlessly bullying themselves. I mean, realistically, they are the bullies, and it's absolutely disgraceful. Every person involved with the constant hounding of Meghan and Harry should be absolutely ashamed of themselves, and you should hang your head in shame. No matter what Meghan and Harry do, alright? They will always face criticism and hounding from the British media, the British press. And it's really sad. It's really sad that they can't do anything without getting criticised. I just hope that they don't pay attention to it, because I can just imagine them knowing that they've outgrown the British press in a way. It's unnecessary, because it is. The British press are ridiculous buffoons that should be laughed out of any sort of journalistic integrity. They have none. On behalf of the compassionate British people who equally despise the double standards that the media have placed on you, we're sorry. I personally think that they'll massively outgrow this childish outcry from the media. I really hope that they both prosper and become much more influential than the influence of the royal family and the media lackeys could ever make them. I love their genuine intentions, passing on great messages through kids' programming and TV shows and films and stuff like that. They both seem like such charitable people. And although I've never really liked the royal family myself, I definitely see Meghan and Harry as these two shiny apples that have made the scary decision to jump out of a rotten basket with one especially rotten apple that actually So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Why do you care so much? Why do you take everything that they do so personally when it's nothing to do with you? Especially when you don't really pay attention or care about the Prince Andrew thing. I hate to break it to you, Piers Morgan, but you're not part of the royal family. You aren't a royal, and you never will be. So, everyone, just leave him alone. I'm sure there's way more important things to be worried about.